स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय Ramakrishnaaya te namaha. My salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, who descended on this earth to establish the Dharma, who is the embodiment of all the world religions and the best among the incarnations. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, as you know, 15 days before, second part of the lecture we had seen, but only we were discussing about the introduction to the third volume of Sri Ramakrishna Leela Prasanga, which is in Bengali. Now it is in divine play in a one volume, of course. So all these things, probably sometimes you may feel that it is a bit detailed, but it is preparing your mind to enter Sri Ramakrishna's divine play. Now, while describing any biography of a saint or a person, sometimes there can be exaggerations. Because I love him, so I exaggerate the things, events. Or he is my guru and I'm his disciple. So, because of that faith or devotion or with emotions or respect, we can exaggerate. And apart from that, sometimes the authors they don't give much importance to facts and they give importance to values. And while there can be errors in the facts, and if you see, there is a Western approach to describe the events, and there is a Oriental approach, and especially Indian approach, is categorically while describing the life history of the people. For an example, in Ramayana, there's a mention when the Rama's coronation was declared. The life of Dasharatha, the age of Dasharatha was 60,000 years. Now we all know 100 years is the maximum, or 100, 120, or 130. Even six, how can the Dasharatha's age is 60,000 years? Oh, there is an exaggeration. So Ramayana is full of exaggerations. So it is better to shun away, or it is just myth. So people may land into such type of conclusions. And some people do mark about Ramayana and Mahabharata, especially. But there very clearly the commentator says there, Sahasra, that is 1,000, they should be taken as 1 year. So 60,000 years means what? 60 years. So while explaining this, sometimes Indians, they don't give importance to facts sometimes. They give importance more to the philosophy or more to the ideas. Whereas when it comes to Western people, they give more importance to facts and they want to be very precise. There should be no error in facts and figures and etc. This is what generally Western approach. Now, in this divine play, being the disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Sharadananda, what approach he has taken while describing the events? This question can come if we are doing the analytical study of the divine play. So he has taken very rationalistic approach. In Bengali, they say nirapeksha. Means he has followed the facts, he has examined himself, whatever he has witnessed, or he has cross-examined with the people who has witnessed that events, and he made sure the credibility of the events, and afterwards, then only he has mentioned or he has recorded the events in this divine play. And not only that, while describing an event, what is the necessity or what is the philosophical background or what is the historical background has been explained by Swami Sharadananda. That is very unique pertaining to the life of incarnation or the study of life of incarnation in this divine play. So there are so many books about the life of Ramakrishna by different authors in different languages. Most of the books, they describe the life of Ramakrishna in a events in a chronological manner. Now, in the Gospel of Ramakrishna, it is more importance has been given to teachings than the life. But in Sri Ramakrishna's divine play, the incidents as given, which is cross-examined, and apart from that, there is a philosophical background behind every event. And the one more interesting point or part where if you read deeply, you will understand the divine play. Every chapter or every volume has been dedicated to particular bhava or particular mood. Guru bhava, divya bhava. So, like that bhava is a mood. So, based on that bhava, the particular volume or particular chapter has been dedicated, which is very quite interesting. And I think one of the historian, he beautifully he mentions, I think Romarola or Christopher Isherwood, he tells about Swami Shardananda's writing biography of divine play. He says Swami Shardananda is a good philosopher and a historian. Being a good philosopher and historian, he has written this divine play, which is of very great importance. Now, apart from this, when we read Sri Ramakrishna's divine play, it is the light of the scriptures. Means it is a light among the scriptures or whatever. What do I mean is, for an example, if you got any torch light, you'll be able to see the things in the room or in and around. Similarly, if you have to understand the scriptures, Vedas, maybe Upanishads, maybe or Quran or Bible or any other scriptures, sometimes they're esoteric in nature, it is difficult for us to understand. Now, the Sri Ramakrishna's life is a torchlight, searchlight. If you read, if you understand, it will enable us to understand the scriptures in a better way. If you have got some understanding about the philosophy, Upanishads, Vedanta, and if you read Sri Ramakrishna's life and teachings, you'll be able to understand better. And if you read Sri Ramakrishna's life and teachings, or if you study Sri Ramakrishna's life and teachings, then you'll be able to understand the Vedanta or the Upanishads or the scriptures in a best way. So both are directly proportional, both are interlinked. And apart from that, whatever we see here in the Sri Ramakrishna's divine play, that is what Rushi Vakya. In the Vedas, the Vedic mantras has got a copyright. You can't change, you can't edit. Why? Because it was revealed for a particular Rushi. Rushi means we can say spiritual scientist. So, like that, the Swami Shardananda is also a Rushi, is a spiritual scientist. He tells his one of his preface very clearly, whatever has been experienced by me, I have only recorded them. Now there are so many spiritual experiences has been recorded in this divine play. So all of them has been experienced by Swami Shardananji, more or less. So that's where he is recording. So one of the authentic book on incarnation. Now in many other incarnations, after the passing away or during their time, some other person has written. Very few people who has eyewitnessed has written. But whereas in the Sri Ramakrishna's, in the incarnations life year case, that Swami Shardanji has witnessed all of them, and most of the esoteric experiences, spiritual experiences, he himself has experienced. Being a great Rishi, he has written the life of Sri Ramakrishna, which is very unique in nature. Now, the one more question may come for all of us. Swamiji, you are a monk and you have got any other, you don't have any other much work probably, so you have to study all these things, fine. But we, the family people, we have got a lot of work, a lot of responsibilities. We do some meditation, we do some study, or we do some service. Then why should we study Sri Ramakrishna's divine play? And as you say, in very deeper manner. So this question may come, or it should come basically. If you raise some questions, if you raise yourself in your mind questions, and if you try to study, then what happens? You'll be able to study and understand Sri Ramakrishna's life and teachings in a better way. That will help our devotion towards our chosen deity. So basically, it results in the quality of our spiritual life. It results in the quality of our meditation. It results in the quality of the faith or devotion towards the God or towards the chosen deity. And not only that, it also helps us. In my first talk itself, I told very clearly, it also helps us to understand about the view or perception or understanding about the incarnation. For an example, while discussing I think, in practical Vedanta and Dhyana Yoga, we discussed this. How the evolution of the concept of God has happened in the civilization. In the basic thing, if you see, tribal people were conceived the God as some natural powers. Now, when the civilization progressed, they started understanding the God as the moral governor of the universe. He has got a lot of power, but he has got human deficiencies, and he's sitting in the above world, sitting on the throne with the having a some sword or a weapon, and he's trying to ruling the world, and he's trying to punish the people and reward the people based on their actions. Then slowly, if you progress, God is everywhere, we think. Then again, if as civilization progressed, the thought progressed, they started experiencing God is in me, God is in everywhere, and God is not only a person, it is with energy, it is with full of supreme consciousness and whatnot. So the evolution of the concept of God became better. That doesn't mean that God also got evoluted. There was also progress in God. No, it was only in the perception of the God or concept, there was only progress in the evolution of the concept of God. Why? Because the human understanding became better, so the God's understanding about the God also becomes better. So similarly, when we study Sri Ramakrishna's divine play in an analytical manner, then what happens? It can help, or it may help, or it will help our devotion or our understanding about the God. So for one simple example we can take. Yoga karmasa kaushalam. One of the definition of the yoga, we can see yoga karmasa kaushalam in Bhagavad Gita. The meaning is dexterity in work. Means whatever the work you do, you try to do in a perfect manner. The same thing we can see in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. Whatever sadhana he has taken, particular spiritual practice, he has dived deep in that, and in no time he got expert or he got reached the goal or the target. First 4 years he took, and he realized, he experienced the Mother Kali. Afterwards, whatever the sadhanas, different type of spiritual practices were being described in different scriptural texts, according to Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma or Vedika Dharma, he did. And he practiced according to Quran, and he also, by hearing Bible, he also experienced Mother Mary and Christ. So if you see there, he was deep as ocean, he was vast as sky, and he was so intense, and at the same time was so diverse. Because when you go intense, the diversity or vastness generally it gets reduced in people. Even for example, we see in the scientists and all, when they go deep in their subjects, so the vastness gets reduced. And when people they try to read every subject and have got every they would like to know anything and everything, there can be vastness in their subjects knowledge, but the intensity may be lacking. But in Sri Ramakrishna's, in life and philosophy, if you see, there is intense, there is a deepness as ocean, there is a vastness as sky, and there is a diversity also. Now, if you take a saint or a philosopher, they may be very deep and very vast in their particular philosophy, in the particular school of philosophy. But whereas in Sri Ramakrishna, he was well diversified also. So intensity, variety, and intensity in variety, that is the hallmark of Sri Ramakrishna's life and philosophy. That's what when you read deeply Sri Ramakrishna's life and teachings, you understand. Now, one more question. Now, author himself says that the spiritual experiences of this place, that is meaning Sri Ramakrishna, have surpassed even the Vedas and Vedanta. This has been told by Sri Ramakrishna, has been quoted by Swami Shardananji also in his preface. We might have read, we might have heard, we might have read, and we might have gone just further. So here we have to understand this simple sentence has got a lot of meaning. The spiritual experiences of this place, meaning Sri Ramakrishna's body, Sri Ramakrishna, have surpassed even the Vedas and Vedanta. How it is? Now, when you ask any traditional people, they don't accept this. Why? Because the Vedas is ultimate for all of us, or the followers of Vedika Dharma, Sanatana Dharma. The Vedas is universal and it is final. And there cannot be anything which can surpass the Vedas, which is against their views in a Vedika Dharma, Sanatana Dharma. Now, when Sri Ramakrishna has said that, then is it against Vedas? So, how to understand this? Here only we have to read and understand and contemplate or whatnot. Now, how to understand? Now, in Vedas or in Puranas or in different type of scriptures, we get references, we get mentioning of different scriptural sadhanas. And how to do that? Some steps are also has been told, no doubt. And some experience of the philosophers and the science also has been described. But when you see Sri Ramakrishna's life, he has practiced, and his practice and spiritual experiences and the goals, whatever he has been attained, everything has been told in such a detailed manner. You don't find in any scripture in such a in detailed manner. For example, is Bhavamukha, which is very important, which we'll be seeing in maybe in the next class. And every sadhana Sri Ramakrishna has taken and he has gone such a deep. For example, Dasya Bhava. As you know, in a Vaishnava sadhana, there are 5 modes of sadhana. One is the servant master relationship. The best example is Hanuman. Hanuman always thought he is a servant and is Rama as the master. The servant master relationship. Now there are so many saints in this Vaishnava sect who has practiced this Dasya Bhava and who has experienced the God, who has realized the God, and who has reached the God. Now Sri Ramakrishna practiced this Dasya Bhava. Whoever read the Sri Ramakrishna's life will be able to remember, recollect this incident. While practicing, he tried to practice like Hanuman, means like just monkey god. He tried to sit on the tree, and at the time, his body was so much engrossed in that idea of Hanuman, even just like monkeys, their eyes flips continuously. Even Sri Ramakrishna's eyes was just closing and opening and closing and opening, just like monkey. So the physical manifestation was also there. And not only that, just like monkeys will have a tails, so similarly, the bottom of the spine in the backbone, so there was a small ejection, just like a tail it seems. So yad bhavam tad bhavati, we think. As we think, so we become. Even our feelings, our emotions can affect our body and our outlook, physical outlook, we all read. So in Sri Ramakrishna's life, we can see. So when he took that bhava, that mood as a santana, a dasya bhava, servant master relationship, he started behaving like a monkey god Hanuman, and his physical, not only his thinking, his physical manifestation also started exhibiting or manifesting these qualities. So this type of experiences, this type of mentions, we don't see in any scriptural text. So this can be one of the probably the way we can understand what Sri Ramakrishna mean. The spiritual experiences of this place have surpassed even the Vedas and Vedanta. So, like this, every word and every sentence in this divine play is so important, and it has got so much rich meaning. So, we have to understand that. Now, this Bhavamukha, just I will mention and afterwards I'll go further. Bhavamukha, it is a Sanskrit word. What does it mean? Bhava means it is a mood actually. There's one meaning. And other is bhava means actually astitva, means exist, astitvam, existence. Now, there's a physical or gross existence, or mental or subtle existence, or consciousness or spiritual existence. So, the existence, the existenceness or the existence in itself is what bhava actually. From where the all existence is been emerged, the origin of existence is been represented by the word called bhava. Mukha means the face or origin. For example, whoever has gone to Gangotri, there Ganga Uttari means descending actually. So where is the origin of Gangotri or the Ganges? Is Gangotri? No. From Gangotri, almost 17 kilometers you have to walk. There it is called Gomukh. Go means it is like a cow face. Mukh means it is a face they think it is origin. So first time where you will be able to see the manifestation of the Ganges. So Gomukh, the origin of the Ganga there. So similarly, Bhava Mukha means the origin of existence, where every human being is getting originated, or every being is getting originated. That source, that origin of existence is called Bhavamukha. And Sri Ramakrishna's, if you have to understand Sri Ramakrishna according to the divine play at Swami Shardananji, you have to understand this Bhavamukha, then only you'll be able to understand who is Sri Ramakrishna or what is about his incarnation. Anyhow, next class probably I will take in detail about this Bhavamukha. Now, when you study divine play, analytically, when you try to study divine play, what will happen? It will bring an effect. It affects your mind, it affects your perceptions, It affects your thinking and slowly persist. If it is a consistency and persistency, then there will be a spiritual transformation. It will help the analytical, deep study of the divine play will bring a spiritual transformation for us. Either you may be a Hindu, you may be a Muslim, you may be a Christian, you may be Sikh, or whichever religion, whichever sect, whichever country you may belong to. If you read and study divine play, what happens? There will be spiritual transformation in every spiritual seeker. Now, just I would like to mention who is Swami Shardanand. Whoever has read deeply will be knowing that he is a direct disciple or monastic apostle of Sri Ramakrishna. We all know that. And apart from that, he is a person who has experienced the consciousness, means who has attained Nirvikalpa Samadhi, who has experienced that consciousness, that I am that consciousness, Aham Brahmasmi. When I say Aham Brahmasmi, I am telling just from intellectual. I have read scriptures and whatever I have understood from my intellect, I am telling. It has not become the matter of experience to me. But when Swami Shardanji is explaining about the Nirvikalpa Samadhi or any other thing, any other scriptural experiences or spiritual experiences, he has experienced that. So a Brahmagnani is mentioning, is describing about the Brahmagnana or about another Brahmagnani. That is the beauty of this book. A Brahmagnani who has experienced that I am that Brahman is trying to describe about another Brahmagnani or another incarnation. So here no imagination, no emotions simply, or no exaggerations. It is based on facts and figures and experience. It is based on facts, it is based on examination of the facts, and the third is based on experience. This divine play or the biography of an incarnation or biography of a spiritual giant has been written. That's why it is called Nirapekshata. The other meaning we can say, the person who has got study wisdom, sthita prajna, who is established in wisdom, study wisdom, he has written the Sri Ramakrishna's divine play. Maybe I will give just a small funny incident and I will go that. Who is this Swami Shardanji? There is a very funny incident. Once Swami Vivekananda called two of his disciples, monastic brother monks. One is Swami Brahmananji, the other is Swami Shardananji. And he gave a particular task. He said that you go to Calcutta and you meet such and such a person. It is a very important task. So I'm giving for both of you. You go to Calcutta, you meet such and such a person, and you try to finish the work, and you come back and report to me. Both of them then nodded their heads. They listened to the command of their leader, Swami Vivekananda, and both of them went to Calcutta. Since it was an important work, Swami Vivekananda was concerned and he was just walking in the Belur Math corridor on the ground. So by the noon or evening, both of them came back and they saw Swamiji is walking in the corridor. And if something happens, Swami Vivekananda used to scold right and left. That's why Swami Ramanja was always, he was a bit careful enough that Swami Brahmanji said, see, I cannot face Naren. I cannot face Swami Vivekananda now. I will go to my room. Swami Shardananda, you are a better person. You are a cool person. You go and report to the Swami Vivekananda now. Swami Shardananda nodded his head. Swami Brahmananda went to his room. And Swami Vivekananda, as usual, was waiting for him. Swami Shardanji came. And Swami Vivekananda asked, what happened? Means the task did complete. Swami Shardanji said, no. And he was about to tell second or third sentence. Swami Vivekananda didn't give any space and he started scolding him right and left. Meanwhile, Swami Shardanji is sitting and with a calm mind, just is listening as if nothing happened and is listening to the scoldings of Swami Vivekananda. And he asked a cup of tea and someone bought a cup of tea and is enjoying his cup of tea and just listening to Swami Vivekananda's scoldings as if nothing is happening. 10-15 minutes, Swami Vivekananda scolded, and Swami Vivekananda got annoyed and said, "Fool, I am scolding you, and shamelessly you are sipping a tea without as if nothing happened." Swami Shardanji coolly said, "You want to scold? You continue your scoldings. I have never mind. I will continue my tea." Swami Vivekananda got annoyed and basically he said, "Fool, you are." I mean, I think elsewhere he said, "You are a cold-blooded animal." He says, "You are a cold-blooded animal, or you got a fish blood." He says elsewhere, and I mean, Swami Vivekananda says it is useless to scold you, and he keeps quiet. Then Swami Shardananda says, "Okay, Naren, then why did you complete the task what I have given?" He asked. Swami Sharma said, "Naren, you gave the task, no doubt. We went there, and but unfortunately, the person whomever we were supposed to meet and finish the task, he was not there. So we were unable to finish the task." Swami Vivekananda said, "My goodness, why didn't you tell this early?" Swami Shardananda very coolly again said, "You didn't allow me to say my second sentence." Swami Vivekananda felt very sorry and said, "Okay, you go." And Swami Shardananda got up, and he didn't scold, or there was no emotional reaction or any reaction. Swami Shardananda, as if didn't happen anything, simply he walked very with cool minded. Means Swami Shardanji's mind, such a well-established personality, I mean just nirapekshata, I was telling. So to make you understand or to give a clarity about what was the state of the mind or what was the nature of Swami Shardananji, you can understand. That's the reason Ramakrishna sat once on Swami Shardanji, young Sharat, on his lap and he said, "Oh, you can bear the weight." Just he made this sentence, but Swami Vivekananda, in future, he understood what does he mean. That's why Swami Shardanji was called back from the America and he was made the first general secretary of the Ramakrishna Matan Mission because he knew that he will be able to bear this Ramakrishna Matan Mission's responsibility as general secretary and he will be able to do it. And he was I think, long-serving general secretary of the Ramakrishna Order even now, till now. Now, one more thing, for an example, all of you might have read, but you might not have observed. That's why I'm just making you to rethink your study or reading of a divine play. Swami Shardananda in his background, in his introduction to third volume, he says, Sri Ramakrishna followed the teachings of all previous avatars, incarnations, and quickly attained perfection in various religious paths. This more or less we understand. He discovered a new truth. As many faiths, so many paths. Now, this is in a double quote. He discovered a new truth. As many faiths, so many paths. Jato mat tato pat in Bengali. All of us, we know harmony of religions. Sri Ramakrishna, he exhibited harmony of religions, we say, and we have read. Whoever read Ramakrishna's life and teachings or heard, all of us, we know. But here, interesting is, Swami Shardananda himself is saying, he discovered a new truth. Now, this is an adjective. It is a thing which is to be thought over. He discovered a new truth. What does it mean actually? Is it so? Now, when I had read this, I started thinking. Swami Shardanji is saying that he discovered a new truth. Because we know Swami Shardanji didn't do any exaggeration. It was not of just emotions or about of devotion to his guru. He's not mentioning that. That means there should be something in that. What does it mean? So when I was thinking about, he discovered a new truth, as many faiths, so many paths. Whoever has read Vedas and Upanishads little, definitely we will get the idea or the Vedic statement, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. This statement should come to our mind actually. Already in Rigveda it has been told that Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti, for 10,000 or 25,000 years before, already it has been told. Now, how can this can be the new truth? Again, is it an exaggeration? Or are we missing something? Are we not able to understand something? So this type of questions should come for all of us. That's why I'm trying to instigate the reader's mind or listener's mind. Now, when you say Ekam Sat, Vipra Bahuda Vadanti, what does it mean? Ekam Sat. The truth is one. Vipra, the wise people, Bahuda Vadanti. The wise people are describing in multiple ways or in several ways or many ways. Means the truth is one. The wise people or the men of intellect or the men of experience people or the people who have experienced the truth, they are trying to describe in different ways. Now, here Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti has been told only from the truth point of view or from probably the final truth or the ultimate truth point of view. Now, here, as many faiths, so many paths is, it is from the sadhana point of view, from the path point of view. Now, Again, one more, the word of caution is when Sri Ramakrishna said, as many faiths, so many paths, he never said all paths are equal, all paths are same. Sri Ramakrishna has never said, unfortunately, many of us we do this mistake. And Ekam Sat Vipra Bodha Vadanti also, there's a one truth, no doubt, but when we are explaining it, it doesn't mean that same truth. So there it is from Gamya, the goal point of view, it has been told. Now, as many faiths, so many paths is from the path point of view, it is told actually. Now, when I was thinking, how to understand? So probably two or three incidents from Sri Ramakrishna's life or Sri Ramakrishna's disciples, monastic disciples' life, we can probably think it can bring some light about this action. It needs good amount of study or good amount of contemplation. Now, Panchavati, for an example. Whoever read Sri Ramakrishna's life, they'll know. If you know Ramayana, then you will go to Maharashtra actually, Panchavati, not the Panchavati. Then Dakshineshwar, where Sri Ramakrishna did his sadhana at Panchavati. Once Sri Ramakrishna had gone to Panchavati and he was drawing lines with the help of a stick on the ground. Swami Brahmanandaji, as a young Rakal, he went there. And he saw Sri Ramakrishna is drawing lines. Some are small lines, some are bigger lines. Rakal saw and he asked to Sri Ramakrishna, Master, what are these lines? What does it indicate? Why are you drawing these lines? Sri Ramakrishna said, oh, these are the spiritual progress of different monastic disciples. These are the spiritual progress of my different monastic disciples. Fine. So some are small, some are big, some are bigger. Or one line is the biggest line. Now, young Rakal, he observed the biggest line. See how he thought and he said, oh, this biggest line means it is the highest spiritual progress of your disciple, monastic disciple, or would be a monastic disciple. That means that would be Narayan's. Even any one of us, probably we will also think same thing. But Sri Ramakrishna said, no. Then Rakal said, then it is whose? Then it is said, it is Rakal's. Now again, we should not come into conclusions immediately that, oh, that means Swami Brahmananda's or Rakal Mahar's, the spiritual progress was much more than Swami Vivekananda or Narayan's, because Sri Ramakrishna himself has said, no, we should not immediately come to conclusion here. So then what does it mean actually, or how to understand this? Means from the bhakti point, Swami Brahmananda's path was bhakti, was a path of devotion. So from the path of devotion, Swami Brahmananda's spiritual experience or spiritual progress was much more than young Narayan, because Narayan's path was path of knowledge more than that. Or Vedantic path, Advaita Vedantic path, basically. But now Rakal Maharaj, or Rakal, young Rakal, he started his sadhana according to Sri Ramakrishna's instructions from the path of devotion. Fine. But if you see the eternal companion, Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Brahmananda's life and teachings, very clearly we can understand, often Swami Brahmananda used to experience the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So he started his spiritual practices from the path of devotion and he ended in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Okay. Now, we will take one more monastic disciple's example, Swami Turiyananji. Swami Turiyananji, if you see, more or less, everyone had Karma Yoga, or Bhakti Yoga, Gnana Yoga and all, more or less. But their main path, if you see, Swami Turiyananji started or he practiced his Advaita sadhana traditional manner. Like Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Means hearing, reflection and contemplation. So he followed very traditional manner of Advaita sadhana, that is Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasana, and he experienced Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Now, when it comes to Swami Vivekananda, most of the time only Avaduta Gita was told. Avaduta Gita was asked to read for Swami Vivekananda by Sri Ramakrishna. He also experienced Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Now, and if you see Swami Adbhutananda, Latu Maharaj, probably, of course, he was initiated into mantra, mother's mantra and all. But if you see, Primarily, that Guru Bhakti, the devotion to Guru, was very strong in him. But that through Guru Bhakti also, he reached Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So one started from Saguna Dhyana, Rakal, he started from Bhakti Marga and he attained Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And Swami Turyananji, he followed traditional Advaita Vedanta sadhana, that is Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, hearing, reflection, and contemplation. He attained Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And Swami Vivekananda, it was most of Avaduta Gita, Astavakra Gita, Swami Sri Ramakrishna used to make him to read. And he reached Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And Latu Maharaj, that is Swami Adbhutananda, in him also he was initiated into, as I said, into mantra, mostly mother's mantra. But primarily we can see his Guru Bhakti, the devotion towards Guru was exemplary in him. And he also attained Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And one more interestingly, if you see Mahapurush Maharaj, that is Tarak or Swami Shivananji, during his young days itself, he was aspiring for Nirvikalpa Samadhi, it seems. He was aspiring for Nirvikalpa Samadhi, and because there was a financial problem, and because of that, he had to stop his education, and he was working in railways. And if you read Mahapurush Maharaj's life, that is Swami Shivanji's life, he was working in railways in daytime, and night hardly he slept. He was spending his time in meditation. And he was waiting for a right guru to experience that Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Someone mentions about Sri Ramakrishna, and he comes to see Sri Ramakrishna first time. The first meeting of disciples, these disciples are very interesting actually. Now, Tarak comes to meet Sri Ramakrishna in Calcutta in Dr. Ramchandra Datta's house. And when Tarak, next, he will be future Swami Shivananda or Mahapurush Maharaj, when he comes to see Sri Ramakrishna was standing in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. He was experiencing Nirvikalpa Samadhi, and after some time, he starts asking people, where I am, where am I, who am I, and where am I? Okay, people say, you are in Ramchandra Datta's house. Oh, which Ramchandra Datta? Which Ramchandra Datta? Oh, it's the Dr. Ramchandra Datta, who is a physician. Then Sri Ramakrishna says, all right. So it created a beautiful impression in Tarak's mind. Tarak's mind from his young days, it was ascribing for Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And when he met first time Sri Ramakrishna, he witnessed Sri Ramakrishna's Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And finally, whatever the sadhana was told by Sri Ramakrishna, he followed and he gave, and he also experienced the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Now you see, every sadhaka, now Swami Brahmananji, Swami Shivananji, or Swami Vivekananda, and Swami, Swami Turyananji, all of them took a different paths, but all of them had that Nirvikalpa Samadhi experience. This can give just an understanding about as many faiths, so many paths. Now, when you read traditionally, Adi Shankaracharya says, through karma yoga, selfless action, one get mental purification. And upasana through bhakti yoga, we can't use it actually, upasana they tell very clearly. So bhakti yoga or upasana, you will get chitta ekagrata, concentration. And through gnana, that is Shravanama Nidhyasana alone, one will reach mukti, they say. And when it comes to theistic schools of Vedanta, through karma yoga, you will get chitta shuddhi, no doubt. But through gnana yoga, you will get bhakti, or you will become eligible for bhakti yoga. And through bhakti yoga alone, one can reach the moksha or mukti or kaivalya, they say. So there, the final goal or the final yoga by which one reaches the path or the goal is bit different from each acharyas, each school of philosophy. Now, in Sri Ramakrishna's as many faiths, so many paths, when you say Jato Mat Tato Path, either you take Bhakti Yoga, either you take Karma Yoga, or you take Gnana Yoga, you'll be reaching that final goal. That is what Nirvikalpa Samadhi say. For example, if you take the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, it is more or less. That's why he discovered a new truth, as many faiths, so many paths, is quite interesting, the statement of Swami Shardanand. Like that, you get a beautiful jewels or a beautiful understanding of Sri Ramakrishna's life and teachings when you read Sri Ramakrishna Leela Prasanga or Sri Ramakrishna's Divine Play. And if you can read in Bengali, it is so nice actually. So why I'm giving all these examples more and more, We read Sri Ramakrishna's divine play or Sri Ramakrishna's Leela Prasanga in Bengali or in English, in vernacular languages. Just we will read and we think we have read and we have understood. No doubt, it is to a certain extent, no doubt. But if you raise questions and if you start deeply studying or thinking of every sentence or utterances of Swami Shardanji's utterances on Sri Ramakrishna's life and teachings, it is something very interesting, and you'll be able to understand Sri Ramakrishna in a different way. Different way means in very deeper manner, I mean. And also he sees very clearly once, well, until now, no one has clearly indicated that his extraordinary life was deeply connected to the eternal Hindu or Vedic religion. So why this point has been told? Why? Again, there's a historical background here. Because by that time, so many disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, so many people, they started giving their own interpretations about Sri Ramakrishna's life and teachings. Sri Ramakrishna's life and teachings, so many small pamphlets and booklets had come. And in such a way, when the readers, when they read, there was a view or there can be a perception Sri Ramakrishna has come, okay, has descended as a great either prophet or incarnation. So he's trying to establish a new religion. He's trying to establish a new sect. He's trying to establish a new path. This idea was supposed to come for any good reader based on their life, based on their writings. So now Swami Shardanji is telling very clearly from this that Sri Ramakrishna didn't come to establish any new path, new sect, or new philosophy, or whatever, a new religion. He only has come to rejuvenate the Vaidika Dharma, Sanatana Dharma, or Vedic religion, and also other religions also. And here, what is been told in this volume, we have tried to present to the public an accurate picture of the Master's great life as it was revealed to us, as means Swami Shardanji. Moreover, we have followed the lead of Swami Vivekananda and have recorded those important ideas of the Master that inspired us as well as Swami Vivekananda to dedicate our lives to him. Now, this is also a very important point actually. In many times when people write the life and teachings of a great people, if you take the former and if you take the latter portion of their book or their explanations, there can be incoherence, whereas here it is not so. There is a coherency. One thing that's where we can understand. And apart from that, sometimes it is in a chronological order, just they will be explaining or they will be mentioning about the events. Now here it is not in that way. It has been told they have taken particular bhava mood. Based on that mood, what all the incidents has linked has been explained, and with the background or whatever. And interestingly, who is Swami Vivekananda? Why he's saying that we have followed the lead of Swami Vivekananda? In English has been told. It actually in Bengali version, if you read, it is so nice how Swami Shardanji is explained Swami Vivekananda. Sri Ramakrishna Padashrita Pujyapada. Swami Vivekananda is a great person, Pujyapada. And who is that? Sri Ramakrishna Charanashrita, who has taken shelter at the feet of, at the refuge of Sri Ramakrishna. Now, see, these small words are like keywords. It gives a different understanding about Swami Vivekananda, about Swami Shardanji, and about these books, and etc. etc. So these are some keywords we would like to understand. And also one more example I can say, because you may say, oh, Swamiji, only you are taking up monastic disciples incidents. Why can't you take some lay disciples, that is householder disciples also? Now, when you're coming to Nivikalpa Samadhi explanation, I can also probably take an example of Master Mahashaya. That is Mahendranath Gupta, the author of Gospel of Ramakrishna. When Master was asked by Sri Ramakrishna asked Master Mahashaya, Mahendranath Gupta, do you meditate with the God, with the form or without form? Means either sakar or nirakar. So in those time, again, historical background you should remember, in that time Brahma Samaj was very prominent in Bengal, and many people were followers of Brahma Samaj. So because they were followers of Brahma Samaj, they were they were not believing in God with form. So they never used to believe in idol worship. Now Mahendranath Gupta was also the follower of Brahma Samaj. So he also never believed in the idol worship. And for such a person, Sri Ramakrishna is asking, so do you believe in God with form or without form? And do you meditate on God with form or without form? And Master Mahashaya says very clearly, I believe in God without form, and I would like to meditate God without form. Now, here, Sri Ramakrishna didn't argue or didn't try to disturb what is right and what is wrong. And he said, fine. Whether you believe God with form or without form, both are okay. If you have got faith in any one thing, that is enough to reach the goal. Why? If you, someone of us, if we are believing the God with form, with Sakara Rupa, that is good. If you have got a firm faith in that, we can reach the goal. And I believe in God without form, or I appreciate God without form, Nirakara Rupa, that's fine. If you have got a faith in that, you can reach the God, you can reach the goal, or you can have that experience. And he asked him to continue. But after some time, interestingly, where Master Mahashaya got more understanding or probably a more experience of the spirituality or the spiritual life and etc., and more faith on Sri Ramakrishna, once Sri Ramakrishna says, look, you believe, you have a faith in this Mother Kali, my Mother Kali, everything you will get it, he says. And Master Mahashaya, by that time, he had enough maturity. He says, okay. And finally, he had the experience of the God with form, and he also had the experience of the God without form. So that's quite very interesting. So these are the incidents. Most of us who have read Sri Ramakrishna's life, direct disciples' life, and householders' disciples' life, all these incidents you will be knowing it. But only we have to connect the dots actually. As many faiths, so many paths, he discovered a new truth. Jatomat Tatopat, we have heard these things. But when you take one incident from different monastic disciples and the lay disciples' life, and if you connect this dot, now Swami Shardanji's utterance, how important and how beautiful and how meaningful you will be able to understand. And also you can see very clearly Swami Abhedanji's life also. Swami Abhedanji was interested in yoga, basically, and he went to study particularly a person, Pandit, I'm not able to recall the Pandit's name. He wanted to study yoga from him. He said, I am busy. Swami Abhedanji, as a young man, as a Kalida, he tells, no, please, he pesters. And that Pandit says, okay, before taking a bath, the worker will be giving an oil massage for me. That's the only time I am free. You can come and listen, or you can come and discuss about the yoga philosophy. Abhedanji agrees. If you are interested in study, how we can make use of time, we can. So he goes at that particular time and he sits with that Pandit during the oil massage time and he reads yoga and he becomes good at yoga or whatever. Then finally, again, he reaches the experience of the God with form or without form. As many faiths, so many paths. This can be one of the, one more example you can say. Now, probably in the next time, I will be taking the Hinduism and Sri Ramakrishna, which is Swami Vivekananda's actually an article written in Bengali. So that I will be discussing. Then afterwards, I'll discuss about Bhavamukha. Then we will go. Now, before that, probably just I will give you one simple thought for all of you to think. Then that will help me to take a next lecture. Now, an action. We all do actions. These things have been discussed detail in Karma Yoga of Swami Vivekananda. Now, when we do action, which we will do the external appearances or external effect, we all see, we all know that. Apart from that, every action will have some goal, actually, objects. Oh, why do you do this work? Oh, because to earn my bread and butter. So my object of my work is what? But earning bread and butter. Someone asks, oh, why do you do this work? Oh, because it is service to the society. So the object is what? Service of the society. And there will be also bhava, mood. When I am working, I can be careless, mood. I can be thinking that it is a God service. It is service to the humanity. Like I am the servant of the God and I am trying to serve the God. So the bhava is also important. Now, when Sri Ramakrishna says any action to understand, you should try to understand the uddesha, that is action, object behind that, and the bhava, the mood behind this. Because this bhava, based on this bhava only, every chapter has been discussed in Leela Prasanga or in Sri Ramakrishna's divine play. So, janma karma cha me divyam, evam yoveti tatvataha, tektva deham punarjanma, naiti mameti sochuna. O Arjuna, janma, my birth, karma, my actions, cha divyam, both are divya, both are esoteric or both are divine in nature. Yo veti tatvata. One who understands, what happens? Naiti mameti sorjuna. For them, there will be no more rebirth. There will be no birth for them. So, if you understand Sri Ramakrishna's life and birth, life and his actions, or his birth and actions in proper way, then what happens? For all of us, there will be no birth. And for these actions, there are two things. One is uddesha, that is objective, or the goal, or the intention. The other is bhava, mood. So, in what objective intention and what mood Sri Ramakrishna was doing that? Like Guru Bhava is there, Sadhaka Bhava is there, Divya Bhava is there. All these Bhavas has been told in this divine player Leela Prasanga. So when we can understand that, we'll be able to understand Sri Ramakrishna's life and actions in a much more better way. And our meditation, our understanding about Ramakrishna becomes much better. Our quality of spiritual practice, our quality of meditation, our quality of his understanding, our quality of his our devotional life, our spiritual life, it becomes better. So that's why I'm going in detail or in depth. So it is not a lecture, it is a basically it is a class. Some of you might feel that it is a bit boring or a bit too much details or too much depth. But I think this is necessary, I feel personally, and of course I do enjoy. So I also think that most of you are enjoying this. That's the reason I'm going deeply. If you got any other ways or any other views, kindly let me know. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Next Thursday and Sunday, we will not have class because Swami Suitanji Maharaj, Vice President of the Ramakrishna Matan Mission, is visiting our center. So Thursday we will have satsang, and Sunday also we will have a spiritual retreat. And Saturday I'm going out. So all these three lectures, my weekly lectures of next week will not be there. After next week, after that we'll again resume.